Hey, I'm Chris with How to Politics, and Trump is still working his ass off to get out of paying SNAP benefits. I can't understand how you can get to this place where you don't care about Americans starving, where you show absolute disdain for working Americans. I'll break down the latest, clearest example of their contempt in a minute, but really quick reminder of the facts. More than 1 in 8 Americans can't afford food and are eligible for SNAP benefits. Benefits average $6 a day. This is not cash. The benefits go onto a card that can only be accepted for certain things. So the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, she's responsible for SNAP, and she's been out there trying to sell some bullshit. Let's address the substance of it really quickly before we get to the most important part. So Rollins says that they've gotten data from red states that show 186,000 deceased people got benefits. There's one glaring, stupidly obvious problem with that argument, which is that states decide who gets benefits. So there's 186,000 deceased people in red states that are getting benefits because of how the red states are giving out benefits. She also says that the data shows that 500,000 people are getting benefits twice. Let's be clear. So these are people who are eligible for benefits, but are getting them twice. So these are people who are so unable to afford food that they need assistance to the tune of $6 a day, but some of them are getting $12 a day. 500,000 people is 1.19% of the entire program. So if you're saying less than 2% of the people on SNAP are only getting $12 a day, and you think the problem with that is that they're getting too much food, you're missing the fucking boat. Brooke Rollins appeared on Fox News and revealed exactly what the Trump administration thinks about Americans who rely on SNAP.
But this was, I think, an unintended consequence of the Democrats shutting the government down for 43 days, is it shined this very bright light on one of their pet programs and now has given us a platform to completely deconstruct the program.
So this is the latest accidental reveal of the deeper rot at the top of our government. The glib indifference and indignant self-righteousness that Trump displays to people who don't make millions of dollars or who have to work to pay bills is staggering. The way that he treats Americans who rely on SNAP is not just beneath the dignity of the office of the president, it's beneath the dignity of the United States of America. The idea that forcing tens of millions of people to fill out new paperwork and navigate new requirements won't cause huge numbers of eligible Americans who can't afford food to lose their benefits is absurd. Yeah, the administration's backing off their plan to force everybody to reapply, because that's insane. But it's impossible to imagine the kind of substantive structural changes they want to make to SNAP not affecting eligibility and hurting people in need. And the fact is, we're only doing this for no other reason than Trump's petty, partisan, holier-than-thou crusade, using the same mindless, reckless approach to cutting government that has broken so much else. Decimating American farmers and global trade by imposing arbitrary across-the-board tariffs. You're so thirsty to prosecute your perceived enemies that your handpicked lawyer can't even file charges right. DOGE indiscriminately firing and then desperately trying to rehire workers across the government, including technicians who keep our nuclear weapons stockpile safe. We're getting nothing out of this crusade except hungry Americans. And the idea that you could go on TV in front of the world and smirk about deconstructing something that people in the United States of America rely on for food is beyond comprehension. But the really offensive part, the really fucking offensive part, is the idea that preventing hardworking, innocent people in America from starving isn't your responsibility, that it isn't the president's responsibility, that preventing starvation in America is a fucking pet project of people you hate. You're supposed to be a public servant, not deconstructing something people rely on for food, not a class warrior for the richest people in America. Do you remember this? When Trump first took office, egg prices were skyrocketing. And so our fearless Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins, took to Fox News and said,
how do we solve for something like this? And people are sort of looking around thinking, wow, well, maybe I could get a chicken in my backyard. And it's awesome. I agree with you.
Or when she said the people who don't meet the new Medicaid work requirements could just go and work on farms and replace the workers that they deported. This is not a serious approach to governing. Brooke Rollins is an unbelievably condescending and small person who is unserious, offensively dumb, and bad at her job. They're about to announce cash payments to big farm corporations that were hurt by tariffs. They're going to give billions of dollars in cash to big corporations while cutting money that working Americans can only use for food. This administration has shown itself to be morally bankrupt when it comes to working Americans. They are laser focused on tax cuts and fancy parties for billionaires, on gilded ballrooms, completely forgetting about the working Americans who put them there. Day after day, it is painfully obvious they couldn't fucking care less about us. If you watched this deep in the video, thank you very much. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because I'd love to hear them. I hope you'd consider subscribing. And as always, thank you for watching. I'm Chris with How to Politics.